to be outside performing burial every day. And they expect us to silence. Now, it's an order. Nigerian government came out openly and denied there is no massacre, there is no genocide of Christians in Nigeria. And look at it today. Is there any Muslim here? United Nations, I know you're watching it. American Senate, you are watching what I'm doing, I'm saying here. Special advisor to Trump. Now, please tell Trump to save our life in Nigeria. They are killing Christians in Nigeria, massacre Christians. If they say they kill Muslims, these Muslims are being killed. By who? By Muslims.
Something wild just happened. President Donald Trump, yes, current U.S. president, has threatened to send American troops into Nigeria, one of Africa's biggest and most powerful nations. Not for oil, not for politics, but he says to protect Christians who've been brutally killed by terrorist groups like Boko Haram and ISWAP. Trump didn't talk about sanctions. He didn't talk about diplomacy. He went straight to the military option, and that has sent shockwaves through Africa and Washington.
It's not every day that a U.S. president threatens to invade another country over religion. Donald Trump has set off another firestorm, threatening to use military force in Nigeria, and claims that Christianity was facing an existential threat in Africa's most populous country. Listen to this.
Could be. I mean, a lot of things I envisage, a lot of things. They're killing record numbers of Christians in Nigeria. And they have other countries very bad also. You know that part of the world very bad. They're killing the Christians and killing them in very large numbers. We're not going to allow that to happen.
Now that we have your attention, will you act or will you let us be invaded? For years we have cried out to the Nigerian government, take our lives seriously. But somehow, other things have always seemed more urgent. Our children die in the arms of their mothers. Our men disappear on the roads to nowhere. We have begged for safety, not sympathy, for action, not awareness. And now, because of a threat, a tweet, the world suddenly listens. But tell me, will you finally act now that someone else's microphone has amplified our pain in a way that is not desirable? Or will you, as always, wait for another tragedy to trend before remembering your people? Let me be clear. This is not a Christian issue. It is not a Muslim issue. Nigeria bleeds from both sides of her faith. When I say the North, I am not talking about Muslims. The North is also home to Christians, to traditional believers, to people of every creed and calling. And the North has suffered deeply. Boko Haram, banditry, abductions, terrorism, hunger, but so has the South. Oil bunkering in the Niger Delta, separatists, movements, ritual killings, cult violence, kidnappings. Every corner of this country carries its own scar. This is not a religious war. I repeat, this is not a religious war. It is a human one, and we are all under siege. I come from a family that holds both the cross and the crescent in the same embrace. We do not fight each other. We protect one another. And that is the Nigeria I know. A country of shared meals and mixed prayers. A place where brother and sister are not religious titles, but human ones. To those celebrating the U.S. cares, ask yourself, when has their intervention ever been swift or sweet? When has it ever left peace instead of pieces? History reminds us that what often comes wearing the robes of rescue hides the interest of power underneath. We cannot let our sovereignty be traded for sympathy. We cannot let foreign attention dictate our reality. If they truly cared, they would have cared before now, when thousands were dying off the cameras without the politics of pity. This is the time to stand together, Muslim, Christian, North and South, not to turn against one another. Let us not let the world define our pain through the narrow lens of their interests. Nigeria's unity is not for negotiation. Our peace is not a pawn. And if the world insists on watching, then please, I beg you, my fellow citizens, let them watch us rise together. Yeah, rise together. I repeat, this is not a religious war. It is a human one.
But here's the twist. The invasion hasn't happened yet. So today we're asking, what if it actually does? For years, Nigeria has been battling waves of extremist violence. Since 2010, more than 50,000 Christians have reportedly been killed. Just this year, and over 7,000 deaths in a matter of months. Entire villages burned, churches destroyed, families wiped out. And through it all, critics say Nigeria's government has done little to stop it.
So I am Reverend Yakubu Muton. I am a pastor with the Church of Christ in Nations. But this is my village. This is Mayanga. Mayanga is in Bokos local government, Plateau State of Nigeria. What really happened here is not only in this village that were affected by this crisis. We are affected by more than 11 villages, which Mayanga happens to be one. And in these villages, it is the same method of attack that was conducted. It's the killing, the maiming of people, slaughtering them, and burning of their houses and their foodstuffs and properties. So by now, by the record we have already collected, we have over 150 people that are killed in one day. That is on the 24th of December. That is, the Christmas was just not a Christmas to us, like to celebrate. It was a mourning Christmas because of what happened to us. As you could see, I'm standing here. This is my house in my village, and I lost everything that was in the house, both foodstuff, clothing, and whatever. It was a furnished house, but it is burnt. And even the church that is by my side was burnt, and the pastorium is burnt. Everything about us here in this village is confused. As you could see, that everything is destroyed. But we thank God that some of us are alive. And at the cost of this, like me now, I lost 7 of my brothers at the cost of this crisis that happened.
So Trump says that he might go into Nigeria. Guns are blazing to wipe out terrorists and save Christians. And I see that some Nigerians are celebrating. I know that a lot of Nigerians are in love with Trump. And in fact, many of them are saying that this doesn't mean that he wants to invade Nigeria, that he will just be quick and sweet. Because of the way he puts it in his tweet, he wrote in there that he is instructing the Department of War to prepare for action. He said it will be quick, it will be swift, it will be sweet. Personally, I am hoping that he doesn't follow suit. I'm really, really hoping that he won't actually do it. Let's hope so. Of course, I'm in support of stopping all aid. Like, seriously, why are we still collecting aid at this age? But history shows that help by invasion often makes things worse, not better. In 2001, when the US wanted to invade Afghanistan, they said at that time that it would be a quick, decisive military action to topple the Taliban and dismantle Al-Qaeda. It ended up being 2 decades of war with more than 200,000 people killed. When the US invaded Iraq to topple Saddam Hussein, they said that it would be a quick operation. They said it would be quick, only for state institutions to collapse, huge civilian casualties, and years of insurgency. The death toll from that is estimated to be 150,000. And then the power vacuum created the condition for new terrorist groups to grow. That's how ISIL started.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu insists the violence isn't religious, that it's about land, poverty, and herders versus farmers. But for Christians watching their communities burn, that explanation doesn't cut it. Trump's supporters, and especially his evangelical base, have been demanding action for years. And this week, Trump delivered. He threatened to eliminate Islamic terrorists in Nigeria by force if the government fails to protect its Christian citizens. On Truth Social, Trump posted a fiery message. If Nigeria won't protect Christians, America will. He reportedly told the Department of War to be ready for possible action. Secretary Pete Hegseth backed him up, saying America won't sit back while Christian communities are slaughtered. And that's where everything exploded. Within 12 hours, Nigeria's government hit back hard. Tinubu called Trump's words an insult to Nigeria's sovereignty, insisting his country guarantees religious freedom. But as critics point out, constitutions don't stop machetes.
If non-oil revenue is going well, then we have no fear of whatever Trump is doing on the other side. And I've just signed off on a huge mechanization, program that every region we have a mechanized center for agricultural mechanization and have trainees and all of that. That is our path to food sovereignty, food security. You remove hunger from poverty, you have defeated poverty.
Now, here's the big question. Would the U.S. actually invade Nigeria? Because this wouldn't be some small military move. Nigeria isn't a tiny state. It's Africa's largest economy, over 220 million people, and a regional powerhouse. A U.S. invasion here would be the biggest military operation on African soil since Somalia in the 90s. And we all remember how that ended. Black Hawk Down. If America goes in without Nigeria's permission, that's not help. That's an invasion. And experts warn insurgent groups like Boko Haram don't fight traditional wars. They blend into civilian populations, so any American operation could get messy fast. Collateral damage, propaganda wars, and the risk of turning a local conflict into a global religious one. But let's play the what-if game. What if Trump actually follows through? Imagine this. U.S. Special Forces land in northern Nigeria. Their mission, take out Boko Haram and ISWAP. Airstrikes hit terrorist camps, but nearby villages suffer too. Nigerian civilians are caught in the crossfire. Suddenly, Africa explodes in outrage. Russia and China call it American imperialism. African nations rally behind Nigeria, even those who privately criticize its government. Social media erupts with hashtag #HandsOffNigeria. And at home, Trump's evangelical base cheers, calling it justice for persecuted Christians. The world is split in half. Now, to be clear, Nigeria's violence is real. Terrorists have slaughtered thousands of Christians. But the truth is more complicated. Muslims have also been victims. Many of the attacks come from farmer-herder conflicts fueled by poverty, corruption, and climate change. So while Trump's threat sounds like a moral crusade, experts warn it oversimplifies a deeply complex crisis. Because you can't bomb poverty, you can't drone strike corruption, and you can't end a decades-long insurgency fast, vicious, and sweet, as Trump put it. So why now? Part of it is political timing. Trump's evangelical supporters have been demanding visible action on global Christian persecution. And this is a dramatic way to show it. It's also strategic. The U.S. is losing influence in Africa. Niger kicked American troops out earlier this year. Chad followed. Russia and China are moving in, offering weapons, infrastructure, and no-strings partnerships. So when Trump threatens Nigeria, he's not just talking religion. He's drawing a red line, telling the world that America still intends to be a player in Africa. But here's the paradox. If Trump backs down, he looks weak. If he follows through, he risks a regional war. And if he only cuts aid, he might end up hurting the same Christians he says he wants to protect. Because the U.S. gives Nigeria over $1 billion a year in assistance. Money that funds hospitals, education, and anti-poverty programs. Cutting that could collapse local support systems and make things worse. So what happens next? Right now, U.S. military leaders are being very quiet. No troop movements have been confirmed, but the rhetoric alone has already shaken Washington and Abuja. Here's the bottom line. Trump's threat might be about protecting Christians, or it might be about politics. Maybe it's both. Either way, it's forcing the world to confront a tough question. When a government fails to protect its own people, Does the world have a moral duty to step in? Or does that open the door to endless wars in the name of protection? Because once the U.S. sends troops into Nigeria, there's no going back. So what do you think? Is Trump right to threaten military action to stop what he calls a Christian genocide? Or is America stepping into another disaster waiting to happen? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe. Because this story, it's just getting started.